Energy delayed telling the state about radiation that escaped the WIP site near Carlsbad.
And New Mexico leaders, as you can imagine, are not happy about this one bit. Last week, sensors in the underground nuclear waste tunnels detected a radiation leak. Thank goodness no workers were there when this happened. It was thought to be only underground because filters protect the outside. But the very next morning, a small trace of the same type of contamination was detected outside WIP in the air, and WIP didn't tell the state until days later.
Radiation is simply not supposed to be released outside of the facility. It's not supposed to be released inside of the underground. So any type of radiological event concerns me.
The Department of Energy says it took a few days to confirm that the trace of outside contamination was actually from the WIP leak. Both the state and federal government say these levels are so small they do not pose a hazard to the public. It'll be at least 2 or 3 weeks before anyone can go into the mine to find out exactly what caused that leak. And firefighters are closer to putting out a fire down in Berlin. The Crawford fire started Wednesday near Gabaldon Road. One camper was destroyed by that fire, a couple of sheds too, but crews have been able to keep the flames from reaching any homes. They are close to them though. The fire's been about 75% contained now for a few days. And Bernalillo County firefighters are trying to figure out who started or what started 6 small fires in the East Mountains this week. They believe it was fireworks that sparked up the fires near La Madera Road and Vista Bonita, just northwest of Cedar Crest. Anyone with information on this is asked to call the Bernalillo County Fire Department. Well, jury deliberations are expected to start this morning in the double murder trial of a former mortgage handler.
Ronald Santiago did not take the stand in his own defense during this trial. He's accused of shooting his clients, Greg and Bernadette Olemacher, to death in Albuquerque in 2005. The judge had this to say to the jurors.
You are the judges of the facts.
All right, in closing arguments, prosecutors say Santiago planned the attack on the couple after they suspected something was not right about their mortgage deal. The defense, however, has been zeroing in on the Olemacher's own daughter, Renee, pointing out that her lie detector test was inconclusive and that she spoke about hating her parents in her journal. We have learned a prime suspect in another murder case was allowed to walk. Well, he has been living and working in a motel in Albuquerque.
Guests at the Freeway Inn here near Eubank and Lomas say they recognized Mark Chavez from our stories. He was working as a maintenance man there. Now, the motel owner says Chavez no longer works at the Freeway Inn. Chavez was arrested last month in connection with the murder of Tammy Cessna out in Moriarty. He was released while prosecutors are waiting on some forensic evidence results. Cessna's body was found brutally beaten in her van, which was parked at the Super 8 in Moriarty. That's where Chavez lived and worked as a maintenance man there. The motel guests here in Albuquerque were shocked to learn who they were living next to.
Well, of course, I was freaked out. You know, we live by 3 schools and we've got a bunch of kids and elderly people that live here. You know, I got my kid here myself.
Moriarty police haven't said whether they are keeping tabs on Mr. Chavez.
An attorney for a Valencia County teenager accused of murdering a 12-year-old boy is claiming his client does not understand the charges. 15-year-old Brandon Villalobos was heavily shackled when he was led into a Los Lunas courtroom yesterday. He's accused of beating Alex Madrid to death in Meadow Lake earlier this week and then covering his body with a mattress in a field. Villalobos' parents stood by his side as his lawyer addressed the judge.
Due to his low mental functioning, I do not believe that he understands those charges or his rights.
The district attorney says he hasn't decided yet if he will move to have Villalobos tried as an adult. Not long ago, Villalobos was found incompetent to stand trial on a charge for fighting in public. The teen has been ordered to stay in custody.
Alex Madrid's mother says she always told her son to stay away from Villalobos, but her son still wanted to be his friend.
He's already hit my son before, and I told him to stay. That's why I told my son to stay away from him. I already knew that it was Brandon who did that to my son. I already knew.
Prosecutors have 10 days to charge Villalobos as an adult. If the state moves forward with that and he is convicted of first-degree murder, again as an adult, he could face up to 30 years in prison. Villalobos is a student at Los Lunas High School, and his classmates were stunned about the killing.
I was actually a little shocked. Like, just to know that I was that close to somebody who would kill somebody, you know, like it could have been me.
I was actually pretty shocked because, well, I didn't think he would be a guy to do something like that to a littler kid.
The boy who was killed here, Alex Madrid, went to La Resolana Leadership Academy in Albuquerque. It's a charter school. The principal says the school is offering grief counseling to help students deal with the loss. They're also helping his family raise money for the funeral. There's a car wash being held Saturday at Julian's Burgers. It's at Central and Atrisco. There's also a fund being set up at New Mexico Educators Federal Credit Union. Well, a month after a school shooting rocked the town of Roswell, there is a real reason to celebrate today. Nathaniel Tavares is headed home.
That's right. This was the boy who was shot in the face during the horrific ordeal. Nathaniel has spent weeks in Texas hospitals and rehab centers. His family reports that he's returning sooner and in better shape than any of his doctors expected. His vision has been affected, but now we're told that he can actually see some shapes from his right eye and lights and shadows from his left eye.
We can't understand how he's in such great spirits. The only thing we can think of, again, because of God, the community, the entire nation has done this for him and through him.
Nathaniel's uncle is inviting everyone to gather and create a huge welcome in Roswell when he gets into town from Texas. He's asking people to gather at 2nd and Sycamore in Roswell around noon. As he arrives home, he'll be in his vehicle with his family, and they'll be driving down, and hope, I'm sure that will definitely put a smile on Nathaniel's face. We're so glad that he's
headed
coming
home
back.
sooner than anybody thought.
Yeah.